Do you have commitment issues? I'm smiling because this line, commitment issues, has become like a cliche, a well-known excuse. People are dating on and on, perpetual daters, serial daters. You say, you're dating, might as well commit to each other. No, I have commitment issues. And for some, commitment is actually seen like a noose around their neck, a burden. Why should I be committed? I want to have an exit strategy. I want to have a back door. I remember a fellow telling me with joy, he says, I finally achieved a major goal in my life. I have a girlfriend. We're together. But I figured out how to be with her without being committed to her. I said, does she know about it? Not yet. He's with pride. He thinks commitment is a problem. Nothing could be further than the truth. Commitment is not just an ethical thing to be committed to someone you're with, or committed to something you're doing and you're committed to do. It's actually the greatest gift is to be able to have a commitment. It's to be able to find that something is necessary in your life and not optional or arbitrary. It makes us healthier people. To discuss that and appreciate that, please join me in this discussion called Yesod, where commitment becomes connection. This is Simon Jacobson, and we'll be speaking about Yesod, where commitment becomes connection. This program is dedicated by Robert Lindquist in memory of Bonnie Bell, Edgar Lindquist. The very word commitment. What reaction do you have when you hear that? Is it a positive reaction? Is it a negative reaction? Do you have commitment issues? It's a line you hear very often these days. I have commitment issues. Or the other person has commitment issues. For some, commitment is actually seen like a noose around their neck, a burden. We want to have an exit strategy, a back door out. Why would I be completely committed to something? I remember a fellow coming to see me, and he was like ecstatic. I finally achieved one of my major goals in life. To be with someone and love them, but not be committed. He's talking about his girlfriend. So I said, does she know about that yet? He says, not yet. I'm not sure how I'm going to explain that to her. I'm not sure how that worked out anyway. With pride, he thought it was an achievement. I wanted to cry. Love without commitment. Why is he afraid of commitment? Why is it seen as a negative? That nothing could be further than the truth. Commitment is a critical and healthy component for a healthy life. And that's what we're going to be discussing. So two key points. First, let's talk about the standards of society. Why do people feel commitment is a necessary evil, if you wish? Because it sounds like you're trapped. I committed to something, I signed a contract, or committed verbally. It means I can't change, I can't do whatever I want, because I've committed. So it goes against the very sense of, looking for the right word, like that a free abandon that you want to have. You don't want to be committed to anyone or to anything. It's very immature, of course. It also reflects on point number 2, that we don't know what real commitment is. Ask most people today, young or old, give me 1, 2, or 3 things. We'll start with 1 even. Obviously, if you can say 3, that would be great. But 1, that you're absolutely unconditionally committed to, no matter what. You're ready to fight for it, you're ready to die for it. Thank God I don't mean exactly to physically die, but the commitment is absolute. You're going to be hard-pressed to find many people who have an answer to that. And it's actually because of a blessing of comforts, a blessing of not having to fight wars, a blessing of prosperity, which in turn creates an apathy. You know when we're most crystal clear about our values? When we're challenged. Time of war. But I'm not suggesting we need that. I'm suggesting how do we find that same sense of urgency and clarity and focus in peaceful times? But that can be one of those $1 million questions. How do you have the best of both worlds? To be comfortable, but also feel the need to fight for something. The most important thing from the perspective of a human psyche, commitment is not just a nice thing. It's not just the right thing. You commit it, you stick to it even if you don't like it. It's actually the healthiest thing for a person. We are by nature committed people. Commitment is part of our oxygen. Imagine if your mother was not committed to you the 9 months of pregnancy. What would have happened? Committed to your safety, committed to nurturing, to nourishing you. Now the truth is, in pregnancy, it's almost the divine hand that's really the commitment to you. Because even if a mother is not a healthy mother, just her biological function in pregnancy is going to be one that takes care of her child. But let's go to the step of the day after the child is born. Imagine a parent is not committed to the child. What would end up with us? We're completely dependent. We're vulnerable, impressionable, defenseless to the people who are protecting and taking care of us. And it's not just the physical taking care, feeding, diapering, keeping us safe, but it's also the psychological, emotional nurturing, building confidence, validation. We all know the damage done when that's lacking. Literally like the lack of oxygen, like a flower without water. It doesn't mean all is lost, as we've talked about many times. So commitment lies at the very heart of existence. From the mystical point of view, if God was not committed to this existence, there'd be no existence. But I don't want to bring God into the picture, even though God is always in the picture in a certain way, because I'm not trying to push this as a religious concept. And that sometimes alienates people. But I was just using it as an example. So commitment is the essence of life. Love. What is love without commitment? You love your spouse, you love your children, but there's no commitment. Today you love them, tomorrow you have other things on your mind. This doesn't mean you have to be with them 24/7, but you're committed to them 24/7. What would happen if your body was not committed to breathing every moment? You know, you breathe once in a while. I don't even have to give you an answer to that. So life, by definition, has commitments to it. Some are built in, and some need to be reinforced. The breathing, you just have to allow yourself to breathe. A healthy person is going to breathe without much effort. But when it comes to human commitments, it's a whole other story. So the truth is, commitment is not about a burden, a responsibility, an obligation. It may be partially that. It's above all connection. Is that we thrive on connection. Whether it's connection to parents, especially at a young age, friends, societies, our social connections. A person all alone, we all know how sad that is. No companionship, no validation, no reinforcement, no one to talk to. Think about that. Now, I understand someone will say, fine, so I want people to be committed to me, but why do I have to be committed to them? Okay, besides the selfishness inherent in that statement, because connection is not a one-way street. Connection is a two-way street. It means you're also connecting to something. And here I want to introduce the word bonding. And you may have figured out that in the 49 days of counting the Omer, the book I wrote, Spiritual Guide to Counting the Omer, we're now in the week 6, which is Yesod. Yesod means foundation. But broadly it means to bond with something. What is a foundation? A foundation is a solid, unwavering base upon which a structure stands. But the same thing is with foundational principles. Something unwavering. Absolute commitment. But absolute connection. And absolute bonding. So in the spectrum of emotions, of human emotions, there's love, there's discipline, there's compassion, there's determination, there's humility, and then there's bonding. Then there's dignity, the 7th. You can have all the emotions. You can be a sophisticated and emotionally evolved person. You could be a brilliant person and have all your cognitive skills in place. But if you don't bond with something, you're lacking the most important ingredient, which is your connection to it. Your bond. When two people truly love each other, not just they love each other, they become like one, while maintaining their individuality. I remember years ago, I was giving a class, my weekly class. It was in Manhattan. After the class, a couple came over to me, a couple that I knew. I knew her first, and then later she started bringing her partner. And they wanted to talk to me privately, which we did. We spent half hour, 45 minutes after the class. They've been dating now for a long time. They love each other, they like each other, they care about each other. She says it's time to get married. Let's settle down, make a total commitment, let's sanctify this and turn it into a full marriage. Build a family. And he's holding out. When I asked him, what does he say? He says, yes, we are committed to each other. For all practical purposes, we are like marriage. I say, so why not go through with the actual marriage? He doesn't really know, just resists doing so. Is there a problem? And then finally I realized, let's not discuss it. I said, do you mind, let's meet one-on-one. I thought maybe one-on-one we could talk more bluntly. Maybe he has something on his mind that's bothering him. So we decided to meet. I remember it was the Grand Army Plaza. We went to the top floor of the library. There's a cafe there. And we sat. Smart individual, works in technology. Brilliant individual, I would even say. And we started exploring, we go through the usual suspects. Did your parents have a happy marriage? Often you hear not. So people are afraid of marriage. They didn't see good modeling. No, they had a good marriage. Is there something about this woman that you have concerns about? No, she's excellent. I love her. Do you have someone else in mind that you think may be better? No. Not interested in anyone else. I have everything I need here. Can you grow together? Absolutely. I went through the checklist and I couldn't find any reason that So I said, so it doesn't make sense. You're an intelligent guy. Why would you not commit? Commit to marriage. And that's that. Is it the finality of it? He doesn't want to commit. He says, what's wrong with the way it is right now? And then he even acknowledged, he said, I said, well, first of all, she wants to marry. So do it for her if you have no opposition. Something was, and I couldn't put my finger on it. At some point, you could say, I don't know what to say. I have nothing more to say. I think it's a good idea. I would encourage you. But then something struck me. I remember this. I said to him, I don't think it's just about marriage, about her. I think in all your life. Is there anything you're absolutely committed to? Totally. Starts thinking, no, I'm not committed to anything in an absolute way. I do my work, but it's all Optional meaning I could see myself not doing it too. So I said, so it's not maybe about her, it's about generally you're an intelligent guy. Why should you have any reason to completely be committed to anything in life? He says, yeah, that resonates. That resonates. And then he turns to me, out of the blue, he says to me, what are you committed to? Whatever reason this came to me. It was like a childhood memory. I said, since I'm a little child, I remember walking to school, sometimes taking the bus, but especially when it was raining, I liked to walk. Not because I liked the rain. I liked walking near the curb, up Rogers Avenue, which would then merge with Bedford, which would lead me to Bedford and Dean, the yeshiva I went to. And I walking along the curb as it was raining, the water would run down to the sewers at the corners. And there was often twigs, some dust, some other rubbish. And I had the pleasure of just opening up a channel that the water should run a bit smoother to get to its destination. And where was the destination? Not exactly the Atlantic Ocean. A sewer at the corner. But I liked the idea of opening up a clogged canal, so to speak. And I realized today, I'm still doing the same thing. I have some type of absolute commitment and passion about helping people unclog blockages, psychological, emotional fears, insecurities. And I've been blessed with the ability to help people do that. And I'm absolutely committed to that. He began to cry, the person I was talking to. And it brought a tear to my eye as well. I never thought about it before, I never spoke about it before. But I guess his predicament elicited this from me. And he said, that's so beautiful. I wish I had something like that. And that's where I recognized, we both recognized, it was not about her per se, it was about in general in life, commitment to life. We live in a world where we've been taught everything is arbitrary. You're one little individual, one grain of sand among 8 billion people on this planet, one grain of sand on a beach. Who really cares? So with all our blessings and with all our comforts and prosperity and standard of living, there's a lack of that value. Maybe in living in a town, small town, where you were born and died, there were only 100 people you knew all your life, without seeing any bigger world, it created a sense of value. Now you could say that was naive, that wasn't true. However you want to explain it. But that's what human beings need. And that's what Yesod foundation is, the foundation of life, the bonding, the commitment, the connection. We need connection. It's not an optional thing. It's definitely not a burden. Unfortunately, there are commitments that we are not comfortable with. But you have to begin with that. And when you see it that way, you're not losing your freedom. Woody Allen cynically says, marriage is the death of hope. I guess his marriage was. Or he saw it that way. The beginning of hope is the ability to get beyond yourself and your selfish needs. But if you see yourself as the most important thing is your selfish needs, so of course, any commitment to anyone else or to anything else is going to be a compromise, a burden. But if you see it as part of emancipating yourself, connecting to a higher cause, connecting to something beyond yourself, then it's a blessing. So we have to begin by teaching our children not just how to love someone later in their lives and be committed, but to the very concept of commitment to your life. Commit to your life. Every morning you say Moda'ani, thank you for returning my soul to me. Your soul is indispensable, and the gratitude is indispensable. In that prayer we actually say, in the Hebrew, Moda'ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayim shechzata bi nishmasi, for returning my soul to me. B'chem l'rabba amunasecha. With great compassion is your amunasecha, means your faith. Your faith in me. Your confidence, vote of confidence. It's absolute. Can you tell me someone that's excelled in this world without a vote of confidence? Athletes, they have a coach, they have fans, they have family, people who encourage them. Everywhere in life. You grow, you start in a company, you're working with veterans, you learn confidence from them, they have confidence in you. You make mistakes, you learn by trial and error, but ultimately it's about a commitment. There's a commitment to you, and therefore a commitment from you to whatever it is that you're doing. Yes, some people it comes naturally to them. A word is a word, so they're committed to it. But we're looking for something more than that. We're looking for a commitment out of love. You should want to be committed because that's what defines you and actualizes who you truly are. Because are you committed to yourself? And that's what I told the individual. I said, you're not even committed to yourself. Yes, you're committed to your freedom and to your independence and to your immediate needs, but not committed to your potential, to what you're capable of becoming. That's the key. Just for the record, a little while later, they did get married. Now they have children. I meet them from time to time. He's a new person. He's become a really great person. Now, he was great when I met him. He was a very talented, brilliant, but he was living in his own little world. It's like, didn't really spread his wings. So interesting, commitment, connection, bonding helped him spread his wings. And think of a bird. First, a bird needs to be in a nest. It needs to feel that connection, the commitment of its protectors, its parents, and then the bird goes and flies. You can't fly without that sense of foundation, bonding, commitment, connection. Critical piece in our lives. And the earlier you begin, the better it is. Unfortunately, we live in a world of many severed connections. A lot of attachment disorder. And then we get attached and connected to the wrong things. You could also bond with the wrong things. You can become obsessed with something. What is addiction if not that? I'm addicted to something. It's absolute connection. You can't live without it. But it's not helpful to you. It's suffocating you. Addicted to something that's destructive. So the addiction part, the connection, commitment part, that's the healthy part. But the connection to the object of your connection is the problem. You see this all the time. People are connected to things they enjoy. Often they can be superficial and definitely not transcendent. So the challenge is not the commitment, is to take commitment and direct it toward healthy ends, healthy goals. That's what this emotion is about. Where commitment becomes connection. And connection by definition means you're becoming one with it. Not just you love it. Not just you care about it. You become one. It's a bonding experience. Like two flames. They join together. You can't even distinguish. But this is not about losing individuality. It's about becoming something even greater than you are on your own. That's when two people truly bond and become inseparable. That doesn't happen overnight. You can have a crush on someone. You can be attracted to them. You can value them. That comes, but when you commit to them, something is added. I often tell people who say, I can't commit. I don't feel the firework. I don't feel that I'm bonded. It's the other way around. The commitment will lead to the bonding. Right now, the qualities are there. It's someone that you see is valuable, someone you like, someone you're attracted to. And the same thing with, I don't want to compare a person to an experience, but the same thing with an experience. Bonding is a whole other story. It becomes one with you. And that's when the inseparable part enters. It's foundational. And foundations means there's a certain eternal element to it. That's when you introduce eternity into an impermanent world. Immortality into an ever-changing existence. And it's in the reach of each one of us because we have it within us, whether you feel it or not. Whether you were given that gift to be taught that you have that indispensable component or not. It's there. So it's time to start accessing it. It may be dormant, it may be concealed, even to yourself. That's why you need people around you that validate it, that help fan the flames, ignite the spirit. But you could spread your wings and achieve things that no one but you can do. Find people that believe in you, that believe in that. That itself is commitment. Because when you do, then you're committed to yourself, you're committed to your mission, to your cause, to your calling. And then makes it much easier to commit to others because it's all part of that blessing. And commit to the right things, the healthy things, the ones that help you actualize your calling, your mission in the world. Every day we should be asking ourselves, am I living up to the reason I am here in this world? Because that I'm committed to absolutely. Because that's the only thing that is absolute. Everything else, how you do it, many ways to do things. But the what? I'm committed to living up to my calling. That's in essence that prayer, the Moda'ani. Thank you for returning my soul, giving me a unique, indispensable mission, renewing my contract, renewing that vote of confidence in me. We should be teaching that to ourselves, to our children, from the youngest age. So it becomes second nature, that's what they live with and that's what they're cognizant of. And then the rest of life is to live up to fulfill that higher calling. And commitment then becomes not a trap, on the contrary, it becomes the greatest tool. Like wings that help you reach places, to soar to places you can never reach on your own. Thank you. This has been Simon Jacobson, meaningfullife.com. If you've enjoyed this, find it valuable, please share with others. Please subscribe to these offerings, to our YouTube channel. And of course, love to hear your thoughts, your feedback, your questions, your suggestions. Be blessed, be committed, find that cause, fight for it. Don't give up ever. Persistence, consistency, and you will be the greatest you can ever be, and beyond. Thank you.
This program is brought to you by the Meaningful Life Center. Please help us continue our programs. Make even a small contribution at meaningfullife.com/donate.